Welcome to 8 out of 10 Cats Uncut, a show all about opinion polls, surveys and statistics. Did you know, for example, students have to apply for an average of 24 jobs before they find a position? Things are tough out there. I met a guy recently who told me he had a first with honours, an MA and a PhD. I said, that's great, but I asked you for a burger without pickle. 72% of people find spending time with animals relaxing. I like having dogs around, but my girlfriend objects to all the licking of balls and sniffing of bums. She says it upsets the dogs. And 40% of men worry about getting fat. There's a simple test for men. Look down at your stomach. If it's flat, you've got nothing to worry about. If it's sticking out a bit, you might need to go on a diet. And if you can't see your stomach because your boobs are getting in the way, you've got a problem. What's the nation been talking about this week? Right. What do you think, Joe?
Oh, possibly Miley Cyrus smoking a joint somewhere.
Yes, Miley Cyrus allegedly smoked a joint at the MTV Music Awards. There she is with the herbal cigarette. Is she going swimming straight after that? Jordan, what did you think of it? You're a pop star.
Well, she came out in the news recently and said she's not being exploited. She's actually in complete control of what she's doing, and she's the world's biggest feminist.
Can I just say, I literally am the biggest feminist. So if Miley wants to come and see me, she can.
Would you put a flea in her ear?
I bloody well would. Put a fucking fist in her ear.
What I like about her, slightly like about her, is she's kind of getting it slightly wrong. You know, because normally people they're overtly sexual, they try and be really cool.
Yeah, that's what...
And she sort of does it slightly... I think she sort of is making these decisions, because I'm sure the record executives wouldn't be keen on the whole dwarf thing. Like, she goes on stage with loads of dwarves, and they probably think, that's not actually... It's a bit just weird, and it's uncool. I mean, she's literally a whisker away from lighting her own farts, as far as I'm concerned. She's going to do big snot balloons next, and then going... like that. I think she sort of is in charge of what she's doing, and
she hasn't
she's got
quite
a bit
nailed
mad.
what sexy is.
I think the problem with Miley Cyrus is that because she was a Disney child, it's so much more tragic, everyone thinks, that Disney gone bad, you know, like Britney Spears. And it's sort of like Dumbo shagging Bambi or something, you know? It's like Disney gone nightmare.
You've been out in my head. You just ruined my childhood.
I watched the footage of her at the AMAs and I was shocked because how, in the name of sweet bell peppers, she's won an award for music?
Yes.
Why is no one talking about that? The award winners at that thing were Justin Bieber, her and One Direction. Why is nobody reporting the fact that music is dead?
Let's have a look and see if Miley is up there. Yes, Miley Cyrus caused controversy allegedly smoking marijuana on stage at the MTV Music Awards, although I saw the footage of Miley and I think I could see a better crack. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. Tonight, it's our panellists' job to guess the British public's top 3 most talked-about stories of the year. John Steen, what do you think the nation will be talking about this year?
It must be the Wimbledon final.
Oh, exciting. No.
No?
Tennis.
What's the matter with tennis?
Well, I'll be dead honest with you. I used to play the third most boring sport known to man. Cricket, only trumped by tennis and Formula 1.
Do you not like cricket?
It was a means to an end.
I thought it was an incredible thing. A British man won for the first time in 77 years.
And he hasn't won it since, Jimmy. Let's not let him off. This country hasn't had a Wimbledon winner for nearly 6 months now, and I've had enough. The sad thing, it's a boring name, Andy Murray, as well, isn't it? If his name was, like, Dick Gobbler or something, then... At least now in 50 years, when Sue Barker goes, and of course Britain hasn't had a Wimbledon men's champion since Dick Gobbler. Just going to keep hearing Andy Murray all the time.
It was weird that this whole talk about 77 years of wait is over. And actually, when he won, it was like, thought I'd feel better than that. To me, nothing really can trump that dressage gold at the Olympics.
Lorraine, you're Scottish, so presumably
I am
Andy...
well spotted.
Well, you're not like full-on Scottish. You're like
Just a really tiny bit.
I can understand what you're saying. You're Scottish light.
OK.
Now, did it mean a lot to you? That
Oh, absolutely. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And I think it's a shame that everybody goes on about him being dour.
I don't think he is.
I don't think he's Scottish. I mean, you know.
He spread sunshine everywhere, doesn't he?
And remember he cried. Remember he cried when he lost, and then we quite liked him because he cried. Like, no?
No, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. I mean, the reason I don't like tennis is because I'm left-handed, and you can't play if you're left-handed. So
You can.
you can't play tennis.
You can.
You can't play tennis with your left hand.
Yes, you can. You can do whatever you like.
There's no left-handed tennis players.
There is.
Other than Nadal?
There's loads.
He's all right.
That's his greatest trick, is making us think he's using his left hand. if you hit the ball, if you have a tennis ball, if you've got the right hand, you hit it, it goes that way. But if you've got your left hand, you hit it, it goes behind you. So I have to play backwards like that. There's someone shouting me where the ball's coming. That's why I gave up. This is a stupid game. I'm with Freddie on this.
And the worst thing about it is, as well, you go to Wimbledon. I went for 10 minutes once. They put fruit in your drink. In your drink.
Did you, like, order a pint of John Smith's and then when you weren't looking, they were shoving strawberries?
But you're a tennis fan, aren't you, Jimmy? You like your tennis.
I love it. I think it's incredible.
Why is tennis incredible?
It's like cricket, but instead of him hitting it and it going at 50 yards
I'm
away...
not protecting cricket here. I know it's boring.
Do you like
I've got no... There's no two ways about it.
Given that the exciting bit of cricket is when he hits it, imagine if the guy at the other end hit it straight back.
OK, let's have a look and see if it's up there. Of course it is. John's team, what do you think the nation have been talking about?
What have you been chatting about?
On Tuesday, England won the World Cup, didn't they?
England! England! Hey!
Who are you?
Henning, so you've lived... How long have you lived in the UK?
Since 2002. So I've seen them win many, many World Cups. I don't enjoy football as much as I used to, because our German side, we're rubbish these days. We have not won a major tournament for 17 years. Haven't been to a final of one for about 5 years. Haven't been to a semi-final of one for practically 18 months. So.
Can I remind you you're a guest here? You a big football fan, Helen?
Yeah, I like football. I think it can be quite exciting. But I've been away, so I haven't actually caught up with the news. So they had this. They had a game that basically got them towards the World Cup. Yeah. So who was that against?
It was against. They beat Leeds. They beat Leeds.
No, they didn't. It was
England played against Jossie's Giants.
No. Who did England play against? England played against...
Count Duckula's 11. They played Poland.
The Poles, they looked ill, though, didn't they? I saw that. The Polish people in general, they look fairly ill. Whoever they replaced, so they always looked as if they hadn't slept for 3 weeks.
They've had a tough time of it historically, to be honest.
Maybe they've been watching the History Channel just before the game. Oh, Jesus. What those Germans did to us. They realised, actually, we should be playing with the English.
Sean, if it was a choice, OK, between England winning the World Cup and Chelsea, your team, winning the European Championship, what would you go for?
Well, one of them's not plausible, is it?
I think Chelsea are a good side.
Just literally no chance of England winning the World Cup.
You say that, but on the other side...
Hey!
Yeah.
John, if it was a choice between England winning the World Cup and Leeds not being relegated again...
Somebody's Googled football this week, haven't they?
Funny is now they're starting to wheel out all the statistics, isn't it? Like, that England hasn't lost a football game in Brazil since 1972. Well, Germany hasn't lost a world war since 1945, but all amounts to very little.
These are all good stats. They're really getting me up for it. I think we're going to win.
I think obviously the big story is that Roy Hodgson, he gets us to the World Cup, and they don't even give him 12 hours. Like, his duvet's still warm, he's just got out of it, and there's, like, Roy's a racist on the front cover of The Sun. This ridiculous story about him, part of his half-time team talk was this joke, a motivational joke, about two monkeys in a spaceship and an astronaut. And the joke is that the NASA speaks to the first monkey, it says, switch on the retro boosters, and the captain's then in the second monkey, do this, whatever, and that happens. And then they show the astronaut, he goes, I know. He said, feed the monkeys and don't touch anything. And he told that joke, and then he was saying to the players, feed the monkey, meaning he meant Andros Townsend, as in he's the main man. But it's been taken by the press as a racist statement.
It's just an old joke, isn't it? He's done nothing.
The ironic thing about it is it's an old Irish joke. It used to be, it's a racist joke about the Irish. And Roy's gone, I know what, it's a bit racist. I'll just say astronaut. I won't say Irish astronaut. He thinks he's removed. He thinks he's removed. The racism point, not
He's
seeing.
wily.
So the players came out in sport. I just don't think they've understood yet. I think the penny will drop in the midweek that they think he was being racist, so that's why they're going, it's ridiculous, right? Oh, what? He's not... Oh, I thought he was being racist. That's disgusting. If he's telling jokes in the dressing room when he could have been being racist, I've had enough.
But the player himself has come out and said it's nothing, it's not newsworthy. And on Sky News, they were reporting the story with the strap line underneath saying, Andros Townsend says, this is not newsworthy. And we're here at the FA, what Roy Hodgson has to say, and he goes, Andros Townsend, not newsworthy, not newsworthy. I mean, the irony was delicious.
I don't know an enormous amount about football, despite the fact that I've been talking so much during this section of the show. But, there's something about Hodgson. He doesn't necessarily have a great deal of sort of confidence about him. He doesn't necessarily look confident. If your boiler stopped working and you sort of rang the Yellow Pages and said, can someone mend the boiler, and Roy Hodgson turned up at your door, you'd immediately think, well, he's not going to get it started, is he? Look at him.
Let's have a look at him. I mean, he looks fine now, doesn't he? That fills me with confidence.
That's a man saying, I don't know what's wrong with your boiler.
That's a man saying, has anyone seen my chin?
What I liked about the way the press are just desperate to get some kind of innuendo or pun on the word Brazilian. So they're just these headlines that grammatically don't work, like, let's get a Brazilian, because they know that the Brazilian means the waxing job, but it doesn't quite work. They should just go, we're in the World Cup, shave your pubes. There, we've said it. That's what we really want to talk about, you shaving your pubes. We know we're not going to win, so shave it off.
All right, let's have a look and see if it's up there. Yes, this is the news that the England football team has won a short holiday in Brazil. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. It's our panellists' job to guess the British public's top 5 most popular talking points. Sean's team, what do you think the nation have been talking about this week?
Strictly Come Dancing has started again.
It's back on. It's huge.
Yeah, it is huge. It's massive. Although the line-up is a bit... Well, I think most of them should bring a utility bill. I don't know who they are.
I thought there were huge stars on there.
Who?
With Vanessa Feltz. You did that. Yeah. I said no.
No, I did that as well. I've been locked in a house with Vanessa Feltz. I can testify.
Of course.
Yeah, I did.
When you did Celebrity Big Brother.
I did Comic Relief Big Brother in 2001 with Vanessa Feltz, and she is she's nuts.
How long did you last in that, Jack?
I was in the whole week. I won it, of course.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
charm and personality that shines through. Captured the nation's heart.
Exactly. People just sort of warmed to me, and
I think people kept you in because they knew it would irritate you.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, do you think maybe she's just said, like, I'll come and do the show, but I'm just not gonna do too much because I'm a bit heavy? Yeah.
Do you mean like serious, or what do you...
No, I mean like seriously.
Oh, no, you're
like...
being incredibly bitchy. OK, great.
No!
I didn't realise where you were going with this, but no, I'm with you.
You can't go, no, you just called her fat and
No,
go...
I didn't. No, I didn't
used
call her
another
fat.
word.
I didn't say... I didn't. Because I'm just saying she hasn't danced much, and to me, if you're going on a dancing show, you should dance.
No, in your defence, she came on my show at the start of the year, Let's Dance, and she said, I'm not going to dance. And literally, I don't know if you saw it, we lowered her from the ceiling onto a gigantic 8-foot-long cannon with her legs spread-eagled in a sequin leotard.
Is that the only way you could get her in the building?
David Duckety, would you go on the show?
I was just trying to think of what it would require for me to watch it. First, it would require either a baking element or a crystal meth element. The ultimate TV show would be a combination of so like the Great British Breaking Bad Off, where they'd all cook meth, but then the judging would take ages.
John, would you do Strictly?
No, I don't dance. The only dance I do is YMCA. That's more spelling than dancing.
Sean, presumably you're pretty... I mean, you watch the show. Would you go on the show? Would you go on Strictly?
Well, you know, if my whole career fell apart in tatters, and I had really no option and a lot of tax bills to pay and situation... No, I actually didn't mean that. I mean, you only go on it if your career has reached a certain point. Basically, you have to throw yourselves up into the sort of, like, tides of popularity and hope you get washed up on a beach, not smashed to pieces on the rocks.
Right, then, well, on that note, Jamelia, would you do it?
So.
What?
Honest to God, I get asked to do it every single year, and just hell no.
It's one of the 2 biggest shows on TV, so I mean, it's...
Do you know the stupid amounts of money they offer you to do that show? I just wouldn't...
How much did they offer?
No, they're like ridiculous.
Come on.
I mean, ridiculous amounts of money. You can buy a house, put it that way. And
yeah, but you live in Birmingham.
No. Yeah.
Let's have a look and see if Strictly is up there. Hello and welcome to 8 out of 10 Cats Uncut, a show all about opinion polls, surveys and statistics. Did you know, for example, 1.5 million Britons would like to be buried with their mobile phone? And if you answer it when you're sitting behind me in the cinema, you will be. 1 in 20 people have held a party for their cat's birthday. Even the cat's thinking, this is a bit tragic. And 22% of nightclub hookups are one-night stands. Yeah, who would have thought the guy you tugged off in a toilet cubicle 2 minutes after meeting him in Hollywood's nightclub Romford wouldn't turn out to be the love of your life? But if you are watching, Darren, call me. Okay, fingers on buzzers, 2 more things still to get. What do you think?
People are scared of going to the dentist, aren't they? I know you're not, but some people are.
I was wondering about your teeth. Do you have are these for best, those teeth? Do you have a set for just wearing at home?
Yeah, these are for special, these are for best.
There's your best teeth.
Do you know, I'm upset, Mr. Carr, because Cheryl Cole was voted best smile in this country. And I feel like you deserved that.
I don't know if she's got the best smile. I think Ryland has got the best smile. Yeah, take a look at Ryland.
Is that real?
Yeah, Armitage Shanks did his. That's incredible. Is
that genuine? That's his teeth?
Those are his teeth, yeah. OK, so, Catherine, you recently tweeted that you were quoted £6,000 to straighten your teeth. Let's have a look at the tweet. I can't see what they would have done. They're fine.
Well, if I had £6,000, I'd sort out my willy finger syndrome, because...
Oh, yeah, you have got a touch of the willy fingers there, haven't you?
Each one of my fingers looks like a small penis.
Well, that's small.
I had to get a brace the year before last I got punched in the face in a Chinese takeaway. Yeah. There was a drunk man in, and he was being racist to the man behind the counter, and so that does not happen when the D-man's around.
Sure, the enforcer.
I told him to shut up, and so he swung, but he was so drunk, he went that way and fell over that way, and so I stepped back, and then he went that way, and he fell that way, and, like, this could have gone on for hours, but the man behind the counter the victim just looked up, had missed what had gone on before, and just saw two pricks fighting, and he jumped over the counter and punched me in the face. It knocked that tooth back a quarter of an inch.
That's a good dental story, but not the best dental story. This is the best dental story. Last year, a dentist in Poland was treating her ex-boyfriend for toothache after he dumped her. She knocked him unconscious, knocked him out with the drugs, and then she removed all 32 of his teeth.
Whoa.
I imagine he said... Tinchy, are you scared of the dentist?
No, I'm not. That's one thing I'm not scared of.
Yay! We found it! OK, let's see if going to the dentist is in our top 3. Yes, going to the dentist. When I was a kid, I was scared of the dentist. He was a paedophile. So our next round is Pick of the Poll. Sean, Joe, Roisin, pick a question.
The bear, please, Jimmy.
OK. Last week, an 80-year-old Russian man survived a fight with a bear. True story. He bravely kicked and headbutted the bear before the bear threw him off a cliff. He survived, but a bear basically came at him and he fought him off. So we asked our studio audience, do you consider yourselves brave? Yes or no?
I was really hoping you had a clip.
I'm not dismissing the bravery of a man, but it sounds to me like he survived because he got thrown off a cliff. I'm going to speculate, had the fight continued, he would have got the shit kicked out.
He was an 80-year-old Russian shepherd. He was approached by a bear in a raspberry field. So this is true. This is a nursery rhyme. This week, approached by a bear in a raspberry field. He showered him with kicks and headbutts. Reporters say he managed to knock the bear off balance before it threw him off a cliff. He was hospitalised with bruises, bite wounds and 4 broken ribs. Wow. Discharged within a few days, and it's not known how the bear is.
What's a shepherd doing in a raspberry field? How mobile are these raspberries?
Well, I like the line, he was approached by the bear. I can imagine, if you're the shepherd, a bear goes, excuse me.
The thing is, to be fair, we've only got the shepherd's version of this story. I'd like to hear the bear's version.
In bear news, the bear was sexually assaulted today by a mad Russian. Joe, if you got attacked by a bear, what would your strategy be? What would you do?
Work the body.
Do you think you're a hypochondriac, yes or no?
Well, it's difficult to tell, isn't it? If you think you are, but you're waiting to be told, then are you or aren't you?
I'll tell you what, the test is actually the Whiteley Index for hypochondriacs, OK? So just answer this honestly, we'll see if you're a hypochondriac. Do you worry a lot about your health?
No. I've got bigger problems than that, Jimmy. Healthy and miserable. I'd rather be ill and happy.
Do you find that you're often aware of various things happening to your body?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think there's something seriously wrong with your body?
I think other people think there's something seriously wrong. I think women...
Particularly the front.
Yeah. It is. There's a sort of strange swelling at the front. I think I've got a big, round...
Erection! We would have got there, mate. Don't panic. Appreciate you being part of the team and all, and...
I don't think they're going to spot this knob gag. Better help these guys out. There's a knob gag and they haven't seen it. This is what I call an emergency.
We're ruling out the possibility that it's the first one he's ever had and he wants everyone to know about it.
Erection! John's team, what do you think people have been talking about this week?
I don't really talk to people. Tend to move away when
We put 2 girls on your team this week because we thought it would force you to talk to girls.
OK. Hey.
All right, John. Yeah.
Girls.
John. What about Tesco saying that we're throwing away, is it 2/3 of our food that we buy?
phenomenal.
So much wasted food.
Yeah, well, specifically, it's the bagged salad. They reckon 2/3 of it goes in the bin. Tess, do you waste any food?
Well, I try not to, but yeah, hands up, I'm guilty of occasionally throwing away a bag of salad. that's gone past its sell-by
You've
date.
got kids, give it to them.
Well, I do.
whatever you and Vernon don't have, throw to them.
I do. And if it's not them, it's the dog. But occasionally you do find yourself throwing stuff away, don't you?
The thing is the labelling, isn't it? Because they say bag salad, mixed leaves, but actually that's not accurate, is it? It should be mixed leaves stroke compost. That's what it is. You're basically buying a bag of compost. Because sometimes, you know, it's gone off by the time you got it home. I go through red lights just to get the food home so I can eat it. Have a picnic in the car park.
I think there's a smell test where we all believe the best before date, just give it a sniff. If you're not sick in your mouth, it's fine.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of waste, 2/3 of everything you eat, but I thought about it, it's true, because I've got an example of, like, if I'm eating a packet of 3 Scotch eggs, I'll eat one and throw the other 2 at cyclists.
You've really put that in terms everyone can relate to.
I waste so little. I went on holiday and took some Nurofen, because you can never be too prepared on a holiday, can you?
No, John.
And when I got back, I saw that one of the Nurofen had popped out of the little metal thing they're in, and I didn't want to waste it, so I ate it. Didn't even have a headache. Just thought, I'm not putting that in the bin. Then I had to get shit-faced just to get the benefit out of it.
I hate food waste. I think it's the worst thing in the world. I'd eat things off the floor just to make sure there's no waste. I also hate mice. And one time, my flatmate, to catch a mice for me while I was asleep, left some peanut butter by the toaster with rat poison on it and a spoon. And I came downstairs the next morning, I was like, oh, waste not, want not, oh. I had to go to hospital and get my stomach pumped. It shows how much I hate food waste and also how easy I'd be to trap. But it's...
Krishnan, do you waste food?
I do waste food. I'm really bad. I'm a bit obsessive about the dates. So I'm always the one who looks at the date and it says it runs out on the 23rd, so I can't eat it. Because if it's off, then I might want to be sick or something. So,
Krishnan, you've been reading the news and all these stories about, you know, conspiracies too long. Years ago, there was a flood in Honduras and a woman was in a tree giving birth to a baby. A helicopter came along and pulled her out of the tree as she gave birth to the baby, and she was put into the helicopter with the umbilical cord still attached, and they both survived. Your bag salad isn't going to kill you.
I feel that story might have been a sledgehammer to crack a nut there, really. There was a helicopter and a flood in Honduras to get him to eat some salad.
A bad bag of salad might make you rush the news, won't it?
Well, I've got a weak stomach, and reading the news on a weak stomach is not good.
No.
My sister once had to throw up. She's a newsreader as well, and she had to throw up in between the stories. So she would do an intro and then get... and then carried on, you know.
Was it a particularly gory story?
There was nobody to relieve her.
Madonna has a new video out where she tries to be sexy. Sean, do you read the best before dates? Do you adhere to them?
No. I've got pesto in my fridge that Assad wouldn't fire at insurgents. I don't give a monkey, so I'm fine. I've got cast iron stomach.
Yeah.
The problem is we have a generation growing up now who have never seen Ready, Steady, Cook. So they don't know how to make a meal out of a Mars bar, a red pepper and a stock cube. So they open the cupboards and everything's a meal anyway, and they just go, oh, I've got nothing in. Ainsley Harriott would have turned that into a gourmet feast and been delightful company in the meantime.
OK, let's have a look and see what's up there. Yes, Tesco has revealed the extent of food wastage in the country. According to the survey, 53% of food in this country goes to waste. The rest goes to hips and bums. Right, girls? What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. It's our panellists' job to guess the British public's top 5 most popular talking points. John's team, what do you think the nation should be talking about this week?
Alex Salmond has launched his manifesto for how Scotland will cope after independence. And I can speak with some authority on this because I own a Proclaimers album and have seen Trainspotting. So, do you need any facts on Scotland? Have you been to Scotland? Do you like it?
I've been to Edinburgh. It was fun. I didn't understand anything, but it was nice. And people were like, "Oh, you must have haggis. You must have haggis." It's crazy. It's not crazy. It's just unnecessary. I'm confused by the whole Scottish thing, though, because the world is. We don't understand. So Britain, because Britain is not a country, but then you guys have a national anthem that you sing as Britain, and then you get medals as Britain in the Olympics, but then you're not a country, which is cheating technically. This is just me asking on behalf of the world. We want to know how it works. Because we didn't know that Scotland wasn't a part of it, because they use...
They are, but they're going to leave. Or they might.
To go where? They can't go anywhere. Where are they going to go? I don't understand this. This is confusing.
No, well, I'll tell you what's happened. So Alex Salmond, the First Minister of Scotland, has outlined the SNP's blueprint for Scottish independence ahead of next September's referendum. Some of the white paper key pledges, I'll just give you the key things. I'd say the Queen will remain head of state, Trident nuclear weapons will have to go, popular BBC programmes will stay, but they'll only air on a newly formed Scottish broadcasting service.
And no one's asked the Queen if she wants to be head of state. They've said, oh, when we go, the Queen will still be head of state. She might go, no, bollocks.
I think the new Scotland sounds brilliant. I read his white paper. They keep CBeebies, they get the Queen, they chuck off all the Trident. We should all go there. We should all go, yeah, you do whatever you want, you vote, and then just move in.
Sean, do you think we'd be better off without Scotland?
I think it's inevitable. If I was Scottish, I'd vote for independence. I would, immediately. Because you think
you can't vote immediately. It's not for another 10 months. So that would be a waste of vote.
Sorry. I mean, what I'd do if I was Scottish, I'd turn it into a tax haven.
Oh, now you're talking.
Yeah.
Not everyone in Scotland is for independence. Take a look at some Glasgow Rangers fans and what they think about it.
Oh, it's Salmond is a twat, is a twat. Oh, it's Salmond is a twat, is a twat.
Why is he a twat?
Because he wants to break up a union, and he shags grannies. He's a granny shagger.
That's from the Scottish Newsnight, I believe.
I was in favour, but now I know he shags grannies. I'm changing my mind. I don't have any time for independence. When I grew up in the West Country, and there was the talk of Cornish independence.
Only among you and your friends.
No, I was from Devon, so I don't think...
It's the same.
That's the most offensive thing you've ever said.
Not even close.
Don't Devon want to be independent as well?
No, we can't.
What do you mean you can't?
Well, we're in between Cornwall and Britain.
That doesn't stop you. Look where France is, between Spain and Germany.
You struggled with that one, then, didn't you?
Really, the analogy I use is it's a bit like a relationship. And I'm beginning to feel like a bit of a spurned lover in this thing, you know when you're in a relationship and the other party says, oh, I don't know if this is right anymore, I feel like saying, well, if you don't want it, go. In fact, you know what? We should do it not on whether you keep the pound or nuclear weapons, do it on music, right? We keep the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and the Who and the Jam and the Clash, and they can take their Best of Delamitri CD and stick it up their arse.
It is like a relationship. I think we should dump them first.
Yeah.
You know when you know you're going to be dumped and you think, if I get in there first, this is going to save a lot of face? Because I think otherwise it's going to be David Cameron turning up at Hadrian's Wall drunk at 3 a.m. going, fuck you, are you shagging Denmark? Is that what you're doing?
Instead of independence, we should have like a trial separation period.
See how it goes.
Well, couples do it,
yeah. And for a year, we don't go up there. And they don't come down here.
And do we view the Welsh as like our kids? We've both got equal rights?
We get the Welsh every other weekend.
Yeah.
Strictly, I would be for the union, but if it means we don't have the guy on the co-op adverts who says, good with food, then I am willing to change my vote. Because there are 4 O's in that sentence, and he just willfully ignores every one of them. And then has the cheek to say he works for the co-op. Well, by your rules, mate, you work for the cup. Chicken cheese.
Let's have a look and see if it's up there. Yes! Alex Salmond has unveiled the SNP's plans for Scottish independence. Following independence, the BBC would be replaced by the Scottish Broadcasting Service, leading to new Scottish programmes such as No Cash in the Attic, Doctor Who You Looking At, Dragon's Crack Den, Q Ockeye, and Skagpuss. Sean Steen, what else has the nation been talking about this week?
Badgers! Badgers!
It's a very upbeat response.
Ah, they can't kill all the badgers.
Well, they don't know how many there are.
Badgers have moved the goalposts.
This is actually a quote from a government minister when Environment Secretary Owen Paterson was asked if he'd moved the goalposts, because they're now saying they need to kill more badgers. He said the badgers have moved the goalposts.
They do, and that's why they must die. That's the kind of thing they do.
Richard, what's your problem with
We've got a
badgers?
massive problem with badgers. We have a lot of badgers anyway, and now we've got all these refugee badgers coming in, running away from all
Starting
these...
to sound like Clarkson, mate.
No! He was rude about badgers. No, he was rude about badgers. I like badgers, but I only like the ones that we already had, and then all the protesters were blowing whistles and banging saucepans to scare them away. So now they've all come and lived at our place, and that's kind of chucked our home badgers out. And...
How can you tell the difference between the new badgers and the old badgers?
Well, they've got different accents.
Because...
I think the cull's a good thing, because they say that there's the equivalent of one dead badger for every 10 yards between Tiverton and Exeter.
They always say that, don't they? Yeah, people are always saying that.
No, but it's actually quite a useful way of finding your way home. Instead of just sprinkling rose petals as you walk along, just follow
the usual method, yes.
A trail of dead woodland animals.
We gave it to them. That's what I feel sorry for. We caught TB in the Industrial Revolution, gave it to the cows. The cows gave it to the badgers. We killed all the cows that had it. We got rid of it. The badgers were just left with TB. Like, there you go, mate. They went, oh, I've got bloody TB now. And now they're trying to give it back, and we're shooting them all. It's like giving someone a cold and then shooting them, going, don't give me that cold, mate.
I'm a supporter of the badgers, and I've actually rescued 2 badgers, because they came round to shoot them, and I had a cottage down there, and I took them in, and I pretended they were slippers. And I would have got away with it, but one of them started coughing.
Carol, what do you make of the badger cult?
Well, I think it's interesting because obviously TB is supposedly spread by the badgers, and with this cull now, they're all running for the hills and obviously spreading it even more.
There is no TB. The whole thing is just the Countryside Alliance. It gives them an excuse to shoot something that's slightly black. Why? There's no TB.
Do you think the reason people are so upset about badgers is because they're like our pandas? People are feel very, very fondly towards pandas. Do you think people see them badger as it's like a shit panda?
They are a bit like pandas, because I love watching 2 of them shag.
What, a panda and a badger?
Oh, no. 2 badgers having sex, not anything weird.
You like watching a couple of badgers?
Because there's 2 pandas up in Scotland they're trying to get to have it off.
Yeah.
So if people like watching pandas having sex, people might also like to watch badgers do it.
The badger might help, because the badger could be like a fluffer for the panda. Sure. Panda just goes out of the way, sunshine. I'll finish this job.
Let's have a look and see if the badger cult is up there. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. It's our panellist's job to guess the British public's top 5 most popular talking points. Sean Steen, what do you think the nation have been talking about this week?
I think people have been talking about Guy Fawkes Night.
Did you go to a bonfire?
No. I don't really like fireworks. I think they're like looking at views. Just boring after a while.
Yeah, views. Yeah. I mean, the whole eye is overrated as far as I'm concerned. You don't like views?
But listen, you go out and then you've got to look at the fireworks and you go, this is great. And then 3 minutes in, you think, I'm bored now, I'm cold. And then you're stuck there.
Sean, is it a big night in your house? Do you do the bonfires?
Yeah, I like the bonfire thing. I mean, I had to take the RSPCA's advice quite seriously, because they said you should check under your bonfire for sleeping hedgehogs. And I couldn't find any, but luckily I had some in the freezer. So. Yeah, that sorted.
Yeah, sure.
I think I look like Guy Fawkes because the people on our road did an effigy and it really looked like me. They'd done it on our road. It was right in front of my house. It was kind of in my front garden. They'd even used, like, a photocopy of my face. And they were, like, chanting, "Weirdo out, weirdo out, weirdo out," which must be like a traditional chant or something.
John, did you go to a fireworks display?
It was a landmark year for me. This was the first year when I couldn't even be bothered to go to the window to look. Usually, if I hear some, I'll go and have a look at my neighbour's fireworks. But this year, I just thought, nah, I'm enjoying Gogglebox.
I think anyone who pays an entrance fee to a bonfire display doesn't understand what the sky is. Like, £2 in, I'm going to stand on that car over there and play with my £2 that I've just saved.
Taunt them with it.
Yeah, just...
The best firework display, I think, in history was in Scotland a couple of years ago. It was meant to last half an hour, but due to a technical hitch, all the fireworks went off in under a minute. Let's have a look. This was meant to last half an hour. You'd have made it to the window for that, wouldn't you, John?
I would have, yeah, if I'd have heard Armageddon outside my window.
Just imagine being there thinking, oh, how are they going to follow this up? Oh, they're not.
I'd like to have seen the guy's face who lit them all and at the end just stood there just like that. I don't know.
Yeah, would you try to stop them? I reckon he just wanted to beat the traffic. He just sat and just ran to his car.
Let's have a look and see if firework night is up there. Yes, it was bonfire night this week. In one town in Kent, locals burnt an effigy of Apprentice star Katie Hopkins, which seems crazy because you can get the real Katie Hopkins for £75 plus travel.